Number 1. 1964 Dodge Dart 270 convertible priced at $5,500. Located in Fallbrook, California. Now here's a classic that screams potential. The 64 Dart convertible already has that clean early 60s design, and with this one finished in red inside and out, it's got a bold, vintage look that really stands out. This is one of those cars that's more about what it could be rather than what it is right now. It's a barn find, and while it does run and drive, it's definitely in project territory. Under the hood, you've got an inline 6-cylinder engine paired with Dodge's unique push-button automatic transmission, something that instantly gives it that old-school charm. It's not a powerhouse, but it's simple, reliable, and easy to work on. Condition-wise, there are a few things to address. The convertible top isn't currently functioning, and the car will need a full mechanical going through before it can be considered truly roadworthy. But that's pretty typical for a project at this price point. Behind the wheel, once sorted, this Dart would be more about relaxed cruising than performance. Top down, classic styling, just enjoying the drive, that's really the vibe here. As a restoration project, this is a great starting point. You've got a complete car, a desirable convertible body style, and plenty of room to bring it back to life or even customize it. For $5,500, this is an affordable entry into the classic car world with tons of upside. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 2. 1985 Mercedes-Benz 300D Sedan priced at $3,500. Located in National City, California. Now here's a classic diesel that mixes old-school Mercedes durability with a bit of modern flair. The 300D from this era is known for being nearly indestructible, and this one adds its own personality to the mix. Finished in a bold yellow exterior with a brown interior, it's definitely not your typical spec, and that's exactly what makes it stand out. It's got that boxy, timeless Mercedes design that still turns heads, especially with the custom stance. And speaking of that, this car is bagged. It's sitting on an air suspension setup that can drop it all the way to the ground, giving it a completely different presence compared to a stock 300D. The seller mentions brand new compressor and bags, so the system is in great working condition. Under the hood, you've got that legendary diesel engine paired with an automatic transmission. It's not about speed here, it's about reliability and smooth cruising. With around 270,000 miles, it's been driven, but these engines are known to go the distance. Condition-wise, it's been used as a daily driver, and the seller recently replaced the water pump and some hoses. Overall, it's described as running well, making it a solid, usable classic right out of the gate. As a project, you could take it in a few different directions. Restore it closer to original, keep the custom look, or refine the details to make it even cleaner. For $3,500, this is a super affordable entry into classic Mercedes ownership with a unique twist. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 3. 1988 Nissan 300ZX Turbo Coupe priced at $3,500. Located in Kissimme, Florida. Now here's a true 80s turbo icon, but this one definitely comes with a project warning. The 300ZX Turbo has always been known for its sleek, futuristic design and strong performance potential, and even today, it still has that unmistakable presence. Finished in gray with a black interior, it keeps that classic late 80s sports coupe vibe. The lines are sharp, low, and aggressive, and you can already picture how good this car could look once it's fully sorted. Under the hood, it's a turbocharged setup paired with an automatic transmission, and the seller mentions a newer transmission has already been installed. It runs, moves, and steers, but that's where the good news starts to fade a bit. Condition-wise, this is a full project car. The brakes currently aren't working, likely due to seized caliper pins or collapsed hoses, so it'll need to be trailered. On top of that, the alternator isn't charging, the engine harness needs work, and the turbo seals may need attention soon. Driving it right now isn't really an option, but once sorted, these cars are known for delivering a smooth yet punchy turbo driving experience, especially in a straight line. As a restoration project, this one is all about potential. You've got a complete turbo car with a clean title, and with the right time and effort, it could be turned into something seriously fun. For $3,500, this is a rough but promising entry into the world of classic Japanese turbo performance. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 4. 1985 Jaguar XJ6 Vanden Plas, priced at $2,000. Located in Dundee, Florida. Now here's a classic British luxury sedan that offers a lot of elegance for not a lot of money. The XJ6 Vandenplas has always been known for its smooth ride, refined styling, and that unmistakable old-school Jaguar presence. Finished in a traditional luxury look, this car still carries that long, low, and graceful body design that made these Jaguars so iconic. Even today, it has that classy, almost regal vibe you just don't get with modern cars. Under the hood, it runs and moves, but it does need some attention. The fuel system is the main issue here. The tanks need cleaning, and it'll need a new fuel pump since it's currently being run off an external fuel source. So right away, you know this is a project. Condition-wise, though, it's actually pretty solid for the age. The interior is described as being in nice shape, and structurally, the car is strong. Floors, rockers, and panels are all solid. The only rust noted is around the corners of the windshield and rear window. A lot of the features still work too. The radio is functional, all the electronics are working, and even the AC system is operational. It just needs a recharge. Driving it right now isn't quite there yet, but once sorted, these cars are known for delivering a super smooth and comfortable ride. As a restoration project, this is a great entry point. It doesn't need a full rebuild, just some key fixes to get it back on the road and looking sharp. For $2,000, this is a very affordable way to step into classic Jaguar ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 5. 1985 Porsche priced at $9,000, located in Sherman Oaks, California. Now this is one of those classic Porsches that's all about the driving experience. It may not be perfect cosmetically, but mechanically, this one has had a ton of work done, and that's what really matters. Finished in a rare mahogany brown inside and out, it's definitely a unique spec. It's not the flashiest color, but it gives the car a classy, understated look that stands out in a different way. Under the hood, this car has a replaced engine with roughly 70,000 miles on it, along with a long list of recent maintenance. We're talking new motor mounts, a full clutch replacement, timing belt and water pump, radiator, coolant hoses, and more. It's also equipped with a limited slip differential, which makes a big difference when it comes to driving feel. On the road, this Porsche is described as smooth, reliable, and genuinely fun to drive. The seller even mentions taking it on long-distance trips, including a cross-country drive, which says a lot about its dependability. Now, it's not perfect. There are a few quirks: no power steering, C needs a recharge, the tachometer isn't working, and the power roof switch has issues. There's also an occasional rough idle on cold starts, but it settles after a few minutes. Inside, the interior shows its age a bit, but overall, the car is still in very solid shape and ready to be enjoyed. As a project, this is more of a light refinement situation. Most of the expensive mechanical work is already done, so you can focus on fixing the small issues and cleaning up the details. For $9,000, this is a seriously tempting entry into classic Porsche ownership with real driving character. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 6. 1974 Galaxy, priced at $6,000, located in Pico Rivera, California. Now here's a big, classic American cruiser that's just waiting for the right owner to bring it back to life. The 1970 Galaxy has that full-size presence, long, wide, and unmistakably bold. Finished in black, it carries that old-school muscle-era look, even though it's more of a cruiser than a straight-up muscle car. The body has that strong, simple styling that really represents what American cars were all about back then. Under the hood, it's powered by a 390 FE V8, which is a solid platform with plenty of torque. The seller has already done some work to get it running, including a new carburetor, new fuel pump, and fresh spark plugs and connectors. So the car does start and run, but it's still very much a project. Driving it right now, you're getting the basics. It moves under its own power, but this isn't something you just jump in and daily drive without going through it first. Condition-wise, it needs a paint job and a full interior redo, so cosmetically there's definitely work to be done. The mileage shows over 1 million miles, but at this point, it's really about the platform and the potential. As a restoration project, this is a blank canvas. You could go full factory restoration, build a custom cruiser, or even turn it into something more performance-oriented. For $6,000, this Galaxy is a solid starting point if you're looking for a full-size classic with room to build it your way. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 7. 1990 Nissan 240SX Fastback 2D, priced at $8,500, located in Hesperia, California. Now here's a true icon in the tuner world, and one that still has a massive following today. The S13-240SX hatchback is known for its lightweight chassis and rear-wheel drive setup, making it a favorite for drifting and street builds. Finished in blue with a gray interior, this one still carries that classic fastback shape that made these cars so popular. It's simple, clean, and instantly recognizable to anyone into 90s Japanese cars. Under the hood, it's powered by the KA24E engine paired with a manual transmission. The seller mentions it runs rough on cold starts but smooths out once it warms up, likely something like the idle air control valve needing attention. Condition-wise, this one is definitely a project. There's a coolant leak from a hose under the manifold, worn rear brake pads, and tires that don't hold air well. On top of that, there are cosmetic issues like paint cracks and rust bubbles around the pillars. On the plus side, it already comes with a solid setup, Megan racing coilovers, plus upgraded control arms and caster arms, giving you a great base if you're planning a performance build. Behind the wheel, once sorted, the 240SX is all about balance and control. It's one of those cars that feels alive, especially if you're into drifting or spirited driving. For $8,500, this is a rough but promising project with strong aftermarket support and tons of potential. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 8. 1963 Chevrolet Corvair Monza 900, priced at $15,000. Located in Orange, California. Now this is a Corvair with a story behind it. Not only is it a clean early 60s coupe, but it was actually featured in the 2007 movie Zodiac, appearing in one of the opening scenes, which already gives it a bit of Hollywood history. Finished in a tan exterior with a matching tan interior, it has that soft, vintage look that really fits the era. The paint is older and shows somewhere, but that kind of adds to its authenticity, especially considering its movie background. Under the rear deck, it's powered by a 102 horsepower flat-six paired with a Powerglide automatic transmission. It's not built for speed, but more for smooth, easy cruising. And mechanically, a lot has already been taken care of: rebuilt carburetors, engine resealed, refreshed transmission and differential, plus a rebuilt torque converter. On the road, this Corvair should feel solid and composed. With updated brakes, Koni shocks, and a refreshed suspension and steering setup, it's been sorted out to be a reliable and enjoyable driver. Condition-wise, the car has been garaged for years and is described as rust-free, which is a big. The interior has been refinished, keeping that original movie-era look intact, and overall it presents as a well-maintained classic. As a restoration project, this one is more about preservation than rebuilding. You could keep its patina and history, or take it further cosmetically depending on your vision. For $15,000, this is a unique classic with both character and a bit of Hollywood heritage. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 9. 1966 Ford Mustang Coupe, priced at $6,000. Located in Melbourne, Florida. Now here's one of the most iconic American classics ever built. The '66 Mustang is instantly recognizable, and even in coupe form, it carries the timeless muscle-era style that never really goes out of fashion. Finished in blue with a black interior, this one has that clean, classic look. It's been given a few upgrades too, including aftermarket wheels, which give it a slightly more aggressive stance without going over the top. Under the hood, it's powered by a 289 V8 paired with an automatic transmission. It also features an upgraded intake, carburetor, and electronic ignition, which should help with reliability and overall drivability compared to a completely stock setup. On the road, this Mustang is all about easy cruising. With anti-sway bars added, it should feel a bit more stable through corners, but overall it's still that classic, relaxed driving experience these cars are known for. Condition-wise, it's described as fair, and with nearly 200,000 miles, you can expect some wear and tear. It's not a show car, but it's a running, driving example that gives you a solid starting point. As a restoration project, this is where it gets interesting. You've got a complete V8 Mustang that you can take in any direction. Restore it back to original, build a clean restomod, or just enjoy it as a budget-friendly classic. For $6,000, this is one of the most accessible ways to get into classic Mustang ownership. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 10. 1968 Mercury Cougar Coupe, priced at $12,500. Located in Denton, Texas. Now here's a classic that often flies under the radar, but really shouldn't. The '68 Mercury Cougar shares a lot of DNA with the Mustang, but brings a more refined, upscale feel, and those hidden headlights? Always a standout feature. Finished in white with a red interior, this one has that classic late '60s contrast that just works. It's got presence without being over the top, and the overall look still feels very period correct. Under the hood, it's powered by a 302 V8 paired with a C4 automatic transmission. The seller mentions it runs, drives, and shifts smoothly, which is always a good sign. It's also had a recent tune-up, a clean fuel system, a new fuel pump, and a freshly rebuilt carburetor, so mechanically, it's been looked after. On the road, this Cougar should feel like a proper cruiser. Smooth power delivery, solid braking with recently serviced components, and that classic V8 sound through the dual exhaust. Inside, it's in decent shape, not perfect, but definitely usable. You've got some nice touches like the XR7 gauge cluster with a working touch, plus a modern Bluetooth Boss stereo system that blends old-school looks with updated audio. Condition-wise, there are some dents and paint imperfections, so it's not a show car, but it's a strong driver you can enjoy right away. As a restoration project, you could focus on cosmetic improvements and really take it to the next level without needing major mechanical work. For $12,500, this Cougar offers classic V8 style with a more refined edge than the typical muscle car. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 11. 1974 Pontiac Lemon Safari Wagon, priced at $4,000, located in Ewing Township, New Jersey. Now here's something you don't see every day, a classic American station wagon with serious project potential. The '74 Lemon Safari has that long, boxy wagon look that just screams vintage family cruiser. Finished in blue inside and out, it's got that laid-back, old-school vibe. It's definitely not a show car, but it has a certain charm, especially if you're into wagons or looking for something different from the usual muscle car builds. Under the hood, it's running a Pontiac 350 with a 2-barrel carb, paired with a newer TCI TH350 automatic transmission. The seller also includes a 4-barrel intake, which opens the door for a bit more performance down the line. Mechanically, it's been refreshed in a few key areas. New HEI distributor, spark plugs, wires, and radiator hoses. It starts up easily, even after sitting, which is always a good sign for a project like this. On the road, this car is more about cruising than speed. Big, comfortable, and easygoing, that's really the experience here. Condition-wise, the frame is in great shape, which is huge, and the mileage is surprisingly low at around 29,000 miles. There is a small pinhole in the rear floor, and the speedometer isn't currently working due to a missing gear, but both are relatively minor fixes. As a project, this is where it gets exciting. Whether you want to restore it, build a sleeper, or even follow the seller's original idea of a turbo LS swap, the possibilities are wide open. For $4,000, this is a super affordable and unique classic with tons of potential. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 12. 1966 Dodge Dart 270 convertible priced at $18,000, located in Smithtown, New York. Now this is what a classic summer cruiser is all about. The '66 Dodge Dart convertible brings that perfect mix of vintage style, open-top driving, and just enough V8 power to keep things fun. Finished in white with a red interior, it's got that timeless color combo that really pops, especially with the top down. It's the kind of car that naturally draws attention and starts conversations wherever it goes. Under the hood, it's powered by a 273 V8 paired with an automatic transmission. The seller mentions it runs strong and shifts smoothly, and there's been a lot of recent work done: new transmission, engine resealed, fresh fuel lines, new distributor, plugs, and even an Edelbrock carb. Driving this Dart is all about relaxed cruising. With new shocks, QA1 upper control arms, and refreshed brakes all around, it should feel solid, comfortable, and easy to enjoy on a weekend drive. Condition-wise, it's in good shape overall. The floors have already been repaired with new pans, the interior has new carpet, and it even features a Bluetooth sound system. The paint isn't perfect, with some chips here and there, but nothing unexpected for a car like this. As a restoration project, you're really in the sweet spot. Most of the heavy lifting is already done, and you can focus on cosmetic improvements if you want to take it further. For $18,000, this is a clean, ready-to-enjoy classic convertible with great cruising vibes. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 13. 1967 Dodge Coronet 440, priced at $10,500. Located in Lake Peekskill, New York. Now here's a classic Mopar that's more about driving than showing. The 67 Coronet 440 has that clean, no-nonsense muscle-era design, simple lines, white stance, and just enough attitude to remind you what it is. Finished in white with a black interior, it's a timeless combo that works on almost anything from this era. It's not flashy, but it has that understated, tough look that suits the car perfectly. Under the hood, it's powered by a 318 V8 paired with an automatic transmission and an 8 3/4 rear end. It's not a high-strung performance setup, but it's reliable and smooth, perfect for cruising. The car also has power steering, making it easier to handle, especially at lower speeds. Driving this Coronet is all about comfort and simplicity. With new suspension bushings, shocks, brakes, and front tires, it rides straight and smooth, just like a classic cruiser should. Condition-wise, it's honest. The body has visible Bondo and touch-ups, so this isn't a show car, but it's solid where it counts, with a strong unibody and floors. The interior is in decent shape, and it even has some nice updates like new carpet and retractable seatbelts. As a restoration project, you've got options. You could improve the body and paint, or just leave it as a dependable driver and enjoy it as is. For $10,500, this is a solid, usable classic that you can actually get out and drive without worrying too much. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 14. 1973 Buick Regal Custom Coupe, priced at $5,999. Located in Avenel, New Jersey. Now here's a classic that blends luxury vibes with a bit of muscle-era attitude. The 73 Buick Regal has that long, smooth coupe styling that really defines early 70s American cars. Finished in its original bamboo cream, basically a soft yellow tone with a brown interior, this one has that warm, vintage look that feels straight out of the era. It's been repainted in 2019, so it still presents nicely overall. Under the hood, it's powered by a Buick LeSabre 350 V8 that was swapped in back in 2019. The seller mentions it has strong pickup and starts right up every time, which is exactly what you want in a classic cruiser. On the road, this Regal is all about comfort. With working AC, heat, and radio, it's the kind of car you can just hop in and enjoy. Smooth, relaxed, and effortless, that's really the experience here. Condition-wise, it's solid where it matters. The undercarriage and floors are clean, and it even had rust protection from early on. There is some rust in the trunk area, but overall the car is described as very solid. And here's a cool bonus, this car has actually appeared in multiple movies and TV shows, including American Horror Story and The Crowded Room, which adds a bit of unique history to it. As a restoration project, this one doesn't need much mechanically. You could focus on small cosmetic fixes or just enjoy it as a reliable, classic driver. For $5,999, this is a stylish, comfortable cruiser with a bit of Hollywood background. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 15. 1967 Triumph TR4A IRS, priced at $13,950. Located in College Point, New York. Now here's a proper British roadster with classic charm and a raw driving feel. The TR4A IRS is one of the more desirable versions, thanks to its independent rear suspension, which makes it a bit more refined on the road compared to earlier models. Finished in British racing green with a black interior and soft top, this car checks all the right boxes visually. Add in the wire wheels, and you've got that unmistakable vintage sports car look. Under the hood, it features a rebuilt engine with strong compression, and the seller mentions it runs and drives well. The transmission, clutch, and brakes are all functioning properly, so it's a car you can actually get in and enjoy right away. Driving this TR4A is all about connection. It's low, lightweight, and very direct, exactly what you'd expect from a classic British sports car. It's not about speed, it's about feel. Condition-wise, it's an honest driver. The paint looks good overall with some minor imperfections, and the interior is complete but shows its age. The underside has had some repairs, including patched floors and reinforced frame, but it remains solid. As a restoration project, you've got a great base here. You can either preserve its character or take it further with a full cosmetic restoration. For $13,950, this is a classic open-top sports car with timeless style and a true analog driving experience. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 16, 1978 Oldsmobile Cutlass Brougham, priced at $8,800. Located in Morganville, New Jersey. Now here's a late 70s classic that really captures that smooth, laid-back American luxury vibe. The Cutlass Brougham was all about comfort, style, and effortless cruising, and this one seems to deliver exactly that. Finished in black, it has that clean, understated look on the outside. But the real highlight here is the interior. It's got the rare factory Mojave interior, which adds a unique touch and makes this car stand out from the usual builds. Under the hood, it's powered by an older 350 V8 paired with an automatic transmission. Nothing too wild, but plenty of torque for easy driving. The seller mentions it runs and drives great, which is always a big plus for a classic like this. On the road, this Cutlass is all about comfort, soft suspension, smooth power delivery, and that classic floaty ride that defines cars from this era. It's not built for speed, it's built for cruising. Condition-wise, it's described as super clean with no rot, which is huge. Finding a solid body example like this is getting harder, especially in this price range. As a project, you really don't need to do much here unless you want to. You could keep it as a clean driver, enhance the interior details, or maybe add subtle upgrades while preserving its original character. For $8,800, this is a solid, stylish cruiser with a rare interior and a lot of classic appeal. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 17, 1969 Chevrolet Corvair Monza, priced at $6,500. Located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now this is something pretty special. The 1969 Corvair marks the very end of the production run, and this one is number 5,868 out of just 6,000 units built. So right off the bat, you're looking at a piece of history. Finished in red with a black interior, it's got that sporty, slightly quirky look that makes Corvairs stand out from the usual classics. It's different, and that's exactly the appeal. Under the rear, it's powered by a 140 horsepower flat-six paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. It's been fitted with a dual-port to single-carb setup, and the seller notes it runs great. There are also some newer components like the fuel pump, generator, regulator, and a rebuilt starter. On the road, this car is all about fun. Lightweight feel, rear engine balance, and that manual gearbox make it a very engaging driver, definitely something you don't see every day. Condition-wise, the exterior has had recent bodywork and a base/clear repaint, so it presents well. The interior, however, is still a full project and will need attention, so that's where most of the work comes in. As a restoration project, this one is interesting. You've got a rare final year model that already runs strong, so you can focus mainly on finishing the interior and dialing it in. For $6,500, this is a unique, late production Corvair with character, rarity, and a lot of driving fun. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 18. 1956 Chrysler Windsor, priced at $11,000. Located in Atco, New Jersey. Now here's a true mid-50s American classic that really captures that bold, elegant design era. The 56 Chrysler Windsor has those sweeping lines, chrome details, and that unmistakable vintage presence that turns heads without even trying. Finished in turquoise with a gray interior, this one looks exactly like a time capsule. It's a complete and original survivor that's been part of a private collection for over 30 years, and it was stored indoors, always a great sign. Under the hood, it still carries its numbers-matching 331 Spitfire V8 paired with Chrysler's push-button PowerFlight automatic transmission. It runs and drives, and it's had some recent work done, including a rebuilt carburetor, new gas tank, new radiator, and a fresh tune-up. Driving this Windsor is more about the experience than performance. It's smooth, relaxed, and full of character, exactly what you'd expect from a luxury car of this era. Condition-wise, it's impressively complete. All the windows and doors function properly, and it even still has the original instruction sheet on the sun visor, which is a really cool detail. It does need an exhaust system, but overall it's in great shape. As a restoration project, this is more about preservation. You've got a solid, original car that you can either maintain as is or slowly bring up to an even higher standard. For $11,000, this is a rare opportunity to own a well-preserved 50s classic with originality and charm. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 19. 1970 Pontiac Lemons convertible priced at $25,000. Located in Swedesboro, New Jersey. Now this is what classic American cruising is all about. The 1970 Lemons convertible brings that perfect mix of muscle-era styling and open-top freedom, making it a great all-around classic. Finished in white with a tan interior, it's got that clean, elegant look, especially with the top down. It's simple, classy, and exactly what you'd want from a vintage convertible. Under the hood, it's powered by a 400 cubic inch V8 paired with an automatic transmission. That's plenty of torque for smooth acceleration, and with a C equipped, it adds a bit of modern comfort to the driving experience. On the road, this Lemons is built for relaxed cruising. It's not about aggressive performance, it's about enjoying the drive, feeling the breeze, and soaking in that classic V8 sound. Condition-wise, it seems well cared for. It's got a newer convertible top and carpet, and it rides on original PMD wheels, which helps maintain its factory look. The mileage is relatively low, and there are no major issues reported, making it a solid driver. As a restoration project, you're already ahead. Most of the important pieces are in place, so it really comes down to whether you want to keep it as is or refine it further cosmetically. For $25,000, this is a clean, ready-to-enjoy classic convertible with strong presence and timeless appeal. Alright, let's move on to the next classic. Number 20. 1957 Ford Crown Victoria Custom 300 priced at $20,500. Located in Clementon, New Jersey. Now here's a classic that takes 1950s style and turns it into something truly custom. This isn't your typical stock Crown Vic, this one has been transformed into a full-on traditional custom build, and it even won the Alexander Brothers Award, which says a lot about the craftsmanship. Finished in green with a pearl white interior, it has that bold, show-style presence. From the shaved door handles to the deck trunk and custom headlights with F100 rings, every detail leans into that vintage custom culture. And those Edsel taillights? That's a signature touch right there. Under the hood, it's running a 383 V8 paired with an automatic transmission, giving it a bit more punch than the original setup. The car has been lowered with 3-inch blocks and Aerostar front coils, along with a rebuilt front suspension, so it sits just right and still drives well. On the road, this is more about cruising in style than outright performance. It runs strong, draws attention everywhere, and delivers that classic, laid-back driving experience with a custom twist. Condition-wise, it's a solid driver with a lot of work already done. There's some repair needed on the front passenger fender, but overall it still presents well and has a ton of character. As a project, this one is more about refinement. You've already got a full custom build. Now it's just about dialing in the details or taking it even further. For $20,500, this is a standout classic custom with serious presence and show history.